usually play Genji. The maximum rank that I ever get, I think, was platinum 4 or 3, or
Okay,
4 or 5 or something like that.
right.
I've been playing for I don't know 2 years or something. And yeah, that would be all of it actually. I don't really like changing my swapping my characters actually. I'm a little stubborn honestly. I like going with what I play and to
Yeah,
the
that's
end, you know.
fine. Yeah. I actually often I have to give the opposite advice to people, where it's like I need you to narrow down your hero pool because it's too many characters. So it is good that like it's fine to have Genji as your sole character. That's okay. I would
Hmm.
genuinely advise just having a second character just in case your character gets banned, and then you have to force to play a character you're significantly worse at. But I've got no real complaints. So what's your I guess at this kind of level, what I'm really looking at is the basics of your character, and not just your character, but basics of the game too, that apply beyond your character, which we'll get into. But what are your strengths on Genji? What are you good at?
I've been playing the I've been playing Genji for so long, but sure, to be honest, I used to have better mechanics than I have now, because I usually play like twice a week these days. And every time that I pick the mouse, it's like I have to relearn how to aim, you know.
Right.
Um, and yeah, I'm feel a little lost. I think I die a lot. I don't know what can I do better.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll get straight into it, right? I guess there's a few main things, or the things that your character are particularly good at in the DPS category. Is you're really good at holding certain space or holding like short to medium sightline angles, because you've got deflect. So you can hold an angle and no one can really contest you that hard, or they can't really force you out because again you can dash or deflect away and you should be fine. Of course, you've got extreme burst damage in your combo, your dash plus shuriken combo, and then you also have like I guess like flexible or versatile playstyles is what I can say. So what I mean by that is you can poke out this Doomfist heavily here and force him away. You can path and stage and try to look for a dive on their Kiriko, or you can force out Echo if she's playing high grounds. Now against this comp here, because they're playing double aerial, this actually kind of simplifies the matchup for you. Where all I'm really looking for when you're playing Genji into this matchup is can I avoid these characters? Because if you take any damage from Echo, Farah in the pre-fire, or even Kiriko too, and you get forced out, you're never gonna get a good angle to begin with. So that's kind of really what I'm looking at, is where you're playing positionally, how much you're getting forced out, why you playing certain positions, right? The stuff like that basically. It's how your character moves, is what I'm really looking for. And yeah, we can get into other stuff later on as we'll see. But we'll see how this pans out, and yeah, okay.
By the way, what can I? How can I poke? Because I feel a little useless when I poke. I mean, I think I can. There's plenty of characters that I can do a lot more poke damage than me, and I feel like I always lose that match.
Right, so then the answer is that you don't poke, right? Or like you minimize that poke staging because these characters, right? They generally arrange your comp, or they arrange you at least specifically. Of course, your comp's running on a Zen Widow, like you've got a decent amount of range yourself, but you yourself don't want to be getting forced out, and neither does your Doomfist. So like this staging right now is actually fairly good because you're avoiding, right? This Farah and this Echo can't see you. Like, you're avoiding their damage, and you're getting this angle for free. Whereas had you been again maybe here out in the open, right, you're constantly getting spammed out, and it's a bit more difficult for you to sort of reach the back line or to get a little bit closer to the enemy team here. So this staging's fine, right? But if you're playing against comps that outrange you, then of course do this kind of thing where you're trying to stage and get an angle close to them. And conversely, if you're playing against comps that that you outrange, right? So maybe that could be Tracer, thinking like Tracer Reaper for example, or like Venture Tracer, then you become that poke character. You can take the longer sightlines and whatnot. But yeah. Okay. Fine. Okay. 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 So we'll talk about this dive in a moment, but I want to play this a little bit more. Okay. Okay, so there's already a lot to sort of go over there or mention. I want to. I'm not gonna keep this broad because whenever I ask a broad question, people don't exactly know what to begin with, right? So I'll ask this, which is a little bit more specific. What can you see when you dive the high ground here? Do you know what you're diving?
Not really.
Not really, right? Like you know Father's dead, right? Maybe you know Masters on high grounds. You've got no idea where they're at, and you should know beforehand that they were on Echo Farah because you saw the spam coming this direction. So yeah, you should be okay to sort of peek this angle here and actually see who you're diving, because this is just a blind dive, right? So that's kind of the first thing, is that you haven't got great information on who's going high ground here. The second thing itself is the dash. Now, it's really tough when I coach players at this level, because if you're like Grandmaster, right, or if you're champion, I know players that can dash straight onto Mercy, flick their crosshair onto the Mercy, headshot her, get the melee off, and then kill the Mercy in one shot, and then leave her and dash away. I know players are able to do that, but at this level of play, it's too risky to do, and you just clearly haven't got the mechanics or the cleanliness, so to say, to be able to do that kind of thing. So, to put it another way, right? Can you confirm the kill here onto the Mercy?
I don't know if I had hidden my shots, maybe. But
Maybe, right?
I don't
Exactly. So, like,
know.
that's the thing, right? It's like, if you're champion, or if you've got, like, insane mechanics, right? Then maybe this play can work out for you. If your name's proper, then maybe this play works out for you. But the much safer play, what might that look like? How can you still contest the Mercy here while making it less risky for you?
You spoken?
Sure, right? I mean, what do you mean by just poking?
Just staying in the room behind. I'm poking from there.
Do you need to do that? Do you need to stay back here? What, back here?
Just go in there and without dash.
Yeah, right? So, like, you can walk on the Mercy as normal, right? Again, this is actually decent, like, this is okay staging, right? Like, coming over the rooftop here, sliding over. You haven't got to use your dash to reach the Mercy. Again, my only concern was that you just didn't peek left side, so you didn't know he was there. But this is fine, right? Like, you're coming over the top here. Just walk normally, shoot the Mercy, and if you don't get the kill, that's fine. Then you can dash out and leave, right? Whereas this becomes a little bit scary. And this is going to get a little bit more specific into the hero micro, or the matchup specifically here, about what you're playing against. But it's really important, especially when you're playing against Echoes, that you don't dash first. Why is dashing first into Echo, or to comps that have Echo, a little bit problematic? Do you think?
The bin.
The beam, right? If you dash in, then your deflect's to escape by proxy or by extension, right? But your deflect can't escape an echo beam, especially if she's got that minor perk that extends the beam and increases her speed too. So you have to approach the matchup way differently when you're playing into Echo. And don't worry, this is like this stuff that I just mentioned, the Echo stuff. I've even had to tell like Grandmaster Genji that too, because sometimes they forget that they're playing into Echo and they can't really dash straight onto the character because they can get beamed, right? So when I see you get stickied by the Echo like this, I'm like, if you're in a higher lobby, you will die immediately here. Like, Echo will shoot you, she'll land more stickies, and she'll beam you, and there's nothing you can do about it, because you just wasted your dash. Whereas, had you just jumped in normally, or just walked onto the Mercy, and then the Echo starts to beam you, you can just dash back to here, and you're completely fine, and no one can chase you. Or you can dash back to here, and you're completely fine, right? So, the main things I've seen here so far are actually not your pathing. I think, again, I like the angle. I think the positives here, I like the angle you take, right? No one really sees you coming over the rooftop like this. I kind of like that, right? You're engaging on full HP. It's good. I like that, right? But the issues that I see here mainly are the lack of scouting. We don't know who we're diving here, really, right? And the dash is the main concern that I have. For wasting it for no reason, which is really bad against Echo, because she can beam you. Okay. Deflect, I'm like, okay, sure, right, we want to get the far kill, fine. Okay. Okay, so like, this is really important, and I just, at the beginning I mentioned that I would bring sort of concepts that came from different heroes or concepts that aren't specific to Genji. And this is one of them. So, very simply, where should you be moving, or where can you move on Genji right now? After you realize, hey, I can't kill this Pharah, she's too far away, where do you move to? Or where can you move?
I don't. I would actually take it, but
High ground,
I
right?
think
So you try moving there, right? Where else can you move to?
I don't know, flank to the left.
Yeah, right? Flank over here. Is anyone going to be looking here right now?
No.
No, right? And you can see that. Kiriko's not looking here. I can guarantee, again, no one is looking in this flank direction right now. So I call these, right, very simply, I just call these mid-fight rotation. And all that really means is taking or moving to a place or rotating to a place in the mid-fights, right? And at this level of play, in Platinum, it's like, it's night and day when you start doing this stuff consistently. And not just consistently, you start doing it quickly. Because sure, you try and go high ground here, but like, why are we trying to go high grounds into like again a poke comp, right? Like if say we're gonna go high ground here, right? We're gonna get poked out by an Echo and a Pharah. We don't want these sightlines, right? Not necessarily, right? We're gonna try and reach the Kiriko mainly, right? We want to avoid getting poked out by the Echo and Pharah, right? Similar to, again, very similar to what you did over here, right? When you passed around here, you're avoiding the Echo and Pharah. And now, admittedly, in this part of the map here, it is harder to do that because it's a lot more open of a map. But still, right? Going left side here, where you're avoiding the Echo Pharah damage predominantly, and no one's looking at this angle here too. This is unscouted. It's a great angle. You can connect them to Kiriko, or you can just spam the Kiriko. That's fine. You can just fire shurikens away. That's okay. That's a more than reasonable angle to play.
In that angle, should I use poke?
Yeah,
Because I
so
don't think poke can I use close
right.
the distance.
Just poke from the angle here, right? You can. There's a more, I guess, advanced variation of this concept, right? So level 1 is like you can just poke it, right, and that's fine. I guess the level 2 version is you can deepen the angle here, and the reason why you can deepen this angle, but you tell me, why can you potentially from here to here?
Um, to catch Akiri maybe from the back.
Sure, right? But why is it safe to do this? Is my question.
Because there's more cover.
Sure, yeah, that's part of it, right? Can anyone on the enemy team punish you for doing this?
Not really, I think.
Not really, right? Maybe Doomfist, right? Maybe. But again, you're Genji, right? If he does that, if he goes onto you, you just dash away and you're fine. And you deflect away and you're fine. And if he does go onto you, well, guess what, right? He's giving a ton of space for your Doomfist to push forward, right? So again, it's a trade-off. So, again, I say this to Genji players, not just Genji players, right? But I say this to players that play more mobile characters. If you're playing a more mobile character into that, and you are, right, against this comp, right? Use the mobility. It's given to you for a reason. You've got dash for a reason. You've got double jump for a reason. You've got wall climb for a reason. Use that mobility and flank around, right? If you're here, right? If I'm coaching this Kiriko right now, I don't honestly, I don't know what to say to like flush you out if you're on this angle here. It's gonna be dangerous, right? If Kiriko comes and duels you, for her, right? Because again, it's gonna be risky to do. So you can stay here, right? And no one can flush out your angle. So I like calling these angles when I coach people. This stuff I like calling these angles aggressive, but safe, right? Because if you were here in this little room, you are on a very aggressive angle. You're directly behind the enemy team. But if you think about it, you're actually really safe because nobody on the enemy team can realistically chase you. If they do, they're wasting their time. And if they do, you've got escape paths. You've got a mega right over here. You've got a deflect, of course, right? And of course, your team can push up and help you. So this is kind of the thing that I see a lot in this rank, right? Is not necessarily throwing the game, right? But missed opportunities is what I see a lot in the elo. And not going left side and taking that room is a big missed opportunity that I see right now.
And what do I do if someone dies when I'm taking the flank because while I'm flanking, I'm not doing the damage really. So I think someone might
Well,
die in a period of time.
okay. There's two or three things. I get that a lot, right? And this is the most like Plat mentality I have to like break out of players because I always tell them, oh, yeah, you can, especially on support. This always happens on support players. Where I tell them, hey, you're playing honor, right? Maybe you can flank through here and get an aid. And the response I get is, well, my tank will die because I'm not healing them. And it's like, okay, well, two things, right? First thing, you can still do damage while you're rotating here, right? You can still poke while you're moving around. They're not mutually exclusive ideas, right? And if you turn heads, right, which is again likely to be the case, if you're poking this angle and you're turning the Pharah to look at you, you're turning the Kiriko to look at you, you're also just using the Mercy Beam, right? The Mercy Skirt indirectly looking at you. Well, all of a sudden, that spam, that's not going towards your team. That's going towards your angle. So your team are actually safer by you taking this angle here. They're taking less spam damage, is the main thing to note, right? So that's idea number one. It's not mutually exclusive. You can still do damage while you're moving around. And two, you're turning heads, you're turning eyes, you're forcing people to not shoot down main and look at your angle. We're just, again, as a result, making this person's life, and this person's life a lot easier. Now, that's kind of the main bulk of it, right? The third part of it is, okay, well, still, someone might die, right? Something might happen, right? And that's fine. But we can't rely on that in ranked games, right? You could be standing down main right now, and someone could die for the exact same reason, right? Like, I don't exactly know, from your POV right now, what you're exactly doing to prevent anyone from dying on your team right now. Like, standing far a little bit, sure, we get the kill, we try and get the kill, whatever, right? Like, we're trying to wall climb, right? And we're not doing much. We're not spamming, We hit one shuriken onto a Doomfist, you reload, right? Like, we just haven't done much, right? And someone could have died there, or someone could have died on our team, right? And just as how someone could have died, well, we could have gone left side, right? Like, it's not causated, is my point, right? It shouldn't be related to you taking a flank. It's irrelevant, essentially. And you didn't do much there either way. You hit one shuriken onto a Doomfist in the span of 10 seconds, right? It's not much value. Whereas again, you could have gone on this left side angle here, and thankfully looks like they're giving up a lot of space. They're giving up a ton of space here, thankfully to what your Doom's doing, right? But where are you right now? I've got no clue. You're picking down an okay angle here, right? Considering the Doom's drawing aggro away, but for the last 10 seconds or so, you particularly weren't doing much. Now, if I put the camera over here, and we press play on the fight, when does our Doom first go in? Because the Doom goes in now. Like, imagine the foot here on this angle. You could follow up on that Genji, right? Again, you don't have to dash in. You can walk forward, hit some shurikens, right? Maybe get a deflect and then dash out. You could do that very simply, right? That could be more than reasonable to do. Or if she gets to 50 HP, you can dash, get the reset, dash out. That's fine as well. So there's many ways you can approach this mercy here, right? But you're not putting yourself in a position to catch the mercy here at all, which is really unfortunate considering how much effort or work your Doom's putting in. So that rotation there is really the main thing, and I get that question a lot. Because people feel like, oh, there's a big opportunity cost if I don't flank, and in actuality, like, there's a big opportunity, or there's actually a massive opportunity cost if you don't flank, which is you miss out on the mercy kill, and you miss out on drawing tons of aggro for your team. Oh yeah, hopefully that answered the question. But yeah.
It does. I think the thing with me is that I tried those long flanks before, but while I'm walking for the flank, someone dies, and I keep that in mind all the time when I try to flank. So I try every time that I flank, I try to do it a short flank, not really long ones.
Right. So if the flank you're doing, so this isn't particularly a long flank. It's gonna take you 2 seconds to do. It's not particularly long. But if you are doing a long flank, two things, right? It either needs to be done really early on in the fight, so that by the time the fight breaks out or things start happening, you're already in position. Because what might be happening is you go for a long flank, right? And then they push in, and then it's basically a 5v4 because you're still flanking around. Well, again, your team's getting pushed in. So if you're doing that kind of thing, it needs to be a little bit earlier. Is probably the main thing to consider. It's just timing, right? But of course, this isn't particularly a long flank. To the left side there. But
Okay.
yeah, like a long flank might be, on this map, like it's a bit difficult to like show, right? But a long flank might be like going literally all the way around here, all the way around here. Like that's a long flank. Like this is like a much, obviously, longer than just, my epic pen's a little bit weird, but this is a lot longer than just doing this, you know? So yeah, but yeah, okay, we'll see here. Okay. Alright, so yeah, your Doomfist goes in, and then eats in a little bit. Potentially miss out on a Mercy kill. Okay. Okay. And like, maybe that, again, that Doomfist didn't do a great engage there, to be fair, right? He's kind of feeding in. But again, we weren't really there to help him. We're like, follow up off the aggro that he was drawing in. And that's purely based off the position that we were at. So now again, we're down a tank, we kind of have to give it a bit of space, right? Honestly, there's not really much you could do to like win that fight there. I'll just play the high ground here and then try and bait people to come at me. Again, you're playing in you're Genji, right? You can hold space for a decent amount of time. You can hold this high ground for as long as you can and threaten people coming your way. So you can just hold the high ground there and then dash out if you need to. But yeah. Okay. We'll see here. Okay. Sure. You doing for skill? Okay, right, and again, like, this is the scary thing. Like, we're dashing straight onto an Echo, right? And if I slow it down, sure, she misses her stickies, right? And that kind of saves you. Because if she hits her stickies here and beams you, what are you gonna do, right? So, this is also really important at this level of play, where you'll do things on Genji that, on paper, are bad. Like, this is a bad dash on paper, right? But you won't get punished for it. So you'll keep doing it again and again and again, because it's platinum. But I always have to say to players, right? You have to play of principle. You have to play of discipline. You can't play based on outcome, and this is why. Because if you don't get punished for this, of course you're gonna keep dashing onto Echo again and again and again. But there'll come a time where you'll play against a good Echo who can hit her stickies, or an Echo who can hit her shots, and she will beam you, and she will kill you. But yeah. Okay, even then, right, like, she missed her stickies and you got down to 70 HP, right? Like, that's extremely scary. Okay. Luckily that she's dead and Doomless is dead, so... Okay. And again, right, like, this is where the whole idea of Midfight rotations come back into play. So we know Doomfist is dead, right? We know Echo's dead, just died, right? What should we be thinking about right now? What are some things that should be going through our mind?
Reposition myself.
A little bit before that, though. Maybe.
Trying to go to the long flank that you mentioned before, maybe.
Maybe, right? Maybe now you've got a little bit of time to do that kind of thing. I don't think it's necessary to do that. I think going for the long flank is, like, again, it's like, it's not going to be a huge detriment because, again, your team's going to be in a 4v3. But I don't think it's necessary to do. I think that's, again, you're missing on opportunity. Obviously, can you be aggressive right now?
No.
No. Right. So chillax, get some healing. That's the first thing, right? Obviously. But after that happens, right? What are some angles you can maybe take?
Maybe the one that you mentioned before, the one on the door.
What do you mean, like through here?
Also it could be, but I mean the other one, the short flank that you mentioned.
Maybe,
Yeah.
right? Sure, through that could work, right? I don't fully mind that. I'm thinking about what's most accessible to you right now. What's the flank you can most easily get to, and no one's going to be looking at.
The right one.
The right side, right? So if you go through here, no one's gonna know that you're here, right? I mean, maybe footsteps will give that away, right? But of course, you've got the mini here. You'll of course get some healing in time, and you'll still have dash and deflect anyways. And let's say you come through here. Let's press play. When do you get healing? Get all right. So we go through here now. Faster. Right. Now we're through here. Now we're through here. Right. And all of a sudden, look at this. You can connect straight onto Kiriko. Right. Just by good pathing. This is all it is. Right. It's just by taking a slight angle through here. Ooh, the pen. through here, through here, through here, through here, avoiding the Pharah spam and getting a great angle onto that Kiriko, right? And now we can actually go for a dash engage. We can dash through. We can actually we don't necessarily need to dash engage straight away, right? But we can shuriken, dash, deflect away because Echo's dead. We haven't got to worry about beam this time, and we're okay, right? And then if you've got good mechanics, we can get the kill. If not, that's okay. Probably force TP or we probably force Suzu, and that's a ton of value, right? So it's this pathing that I'm looking for, right? Especially into poker comps. Because what this person wants to do is to stop you, is to prevent you, is to disrupt you from being able to go on these flanks, right? Because if you're low HP, you're never gonna do this, right? Because it's too risky, right? So I guess my question here, really, and it's probably gonna be a question that's gonna apply to other examples as we go through the VOD, is how come you don't go right side here? Or why not?
No, I didn't want to go deep, I think, because my team was dead.
I mean, sure, right? Maybe your team's respawning, right? And your div's a little bit low here. But by the time you get to this angle, right, it's a little bit long. You can play a little bit slow, right? Then you can still get a good pincer here, right? So I'm not sure. Do you get poked out the entire time? I get poked out a little bit. We take it eventually. Not really, right? And we miss out a big opportunity there to get some really good pressure onto that Kiriko, right? Like again, if I put the camera here, maybe turn all of it overlays off, right?
If Sarah noticed that I'm flanking from there, isn't she just gonna spam rockets through the door?
Right, then you could, that's micro, right? Then you just back off and move away. If Far's looking at you in this direction, what does that mean for your team?
Nah, they're safe.
Right, yeah, then your
For
team
a
can walk
second.
forward, right? Exactly. So like again, it's a trade-off thing. It's the exact same thing I mentioned here in this flank, right? Well, if you go through here, or maybe it's not a great camera angle to show it, right? If I put it there, right? If you go through here, and let's say again, Kiri and Farah are looking at you, then that's gonna make your tank and the rest of your team, right? It's gonna make their lives easier to walk forward. It's the exact same thing here, right? If Farah somehow, by the gods of imagination, knows that you're here and wants to spam rockets out, fine, let her do that kind of thing, right? Let Kiri spam you out too, right? Then your diva can walk forward and the rest of your team get free space, right? And still, there's good micro you can do here, right? You can still poke up this angle, you can still deflect rockets out, you can still hold this space is the important thing, right? You haven't got to leave this angle here. You're just drawing attention away. You're the bait almost. And I think the key thing here anyways is that in this elo especially, and even in GM, right? I would not be expecting, if I back it up here a little bit more, right? So you're poking out here a little bit too much, right? But once you've got Harmony Orb and you repeat this angle here, there's no way, like Farah cannot see you go through this room. She just can't, right? There's a really good video that I'll link this to you afterwards actually. In fact, yeah, I'll link it to you afterwards. I need to set a reminder for that actually. But there's this really good video that explains the concept. It's the exact same thing I'm talking about. But I'll link it to you after to help sort of hammer this home. But again, it's the exact same idea where like, you're hiding out of their LOS so that Farah isn't gonna know necessarily that you're coming through here. So yeah, it's just good pathing because they can't see you physically. Okay. And then you can poke down a little bit here. And again, it's not a massive mistake, right? It's not a throwing fight, but it's missed opportunity, it's missed value. And a better Genji would be able to do it. And it's indicative, or it shows me of like your general mindset on the character as you go through look at these future fights. Ooh. Okay. So, firstly, talk me through this deflect.
What did you say?
Talk me through this deflect. So,
Ah.
in other words, why deflect this? Basically, it's basically what I'm asking, right? So you go down main here. Why are we deflecting this?
Now I remember what happened. I was trying to get some ult charge actually,
Right.
and then just leave.
Right.
I wanted to dash out, not dash in, but something happened to my camera. I don't know what happened.
So, Sure, we can maybe call this a micro mechanical mistake, whatever, right? Maybe a fat finger, whatever, right? But obviously you should die here, probably.
Yep.
And you will? Okay, you don't. That is insane. God, the things like if you're doing this, right? If you're doing this in platinum and you're living, I would genuinely have zero concern about flanking through here or flanking through here. Like this is like you would be dead before you even got the dash off. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, that's really insane. Somehow you live that. Okay. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so we'll chalk it up to like a micro mistake error thing, whatever the case may be. Now I've got a saying though. I've got a saying. Which is bad positioning will force bad cooldowns. So what I mean by that is if you're out in open space, as you are right now, you are probably going to have to use cooldowns to live. Whereas, if you're up here, right, and you're firing down shurikens, or if you're here, firing down shurikens, because either position have got good cover, and you can retreat away, you haven't got to use deflect necessarily. But just by the nature of the fact that you're playing out in the open, you have to deflect. So that's what I'm saying. That's a common saying that I give. It's normally for tank players actually. I give it to tank players normally, but I guess it applies here too because we're playing out in the open, which forces us to use deflect. Like, of course, this deflect isn't bad here, right? There's 3 people looking at us or 4 people looking at us. We need to deflect, right? But it's a bad deflect out of principle. We should never be deflecting it to begin with. Is the main point. So yeah. Okay.
Okay, the stone. That's why.
So again, sorry?
I think it was the Doomfist stone. I couldn't turn around my camera.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. Whatever the case may be. Okay. Where should you go right now? So, you've D-peaked, right? The enemy team don't know where you are right now. They have no idea. They know vaguely that you're down main somewhere here, right? They know vaguely you're here. But they don't know that you could be coming through here. They don't know that you could be coming here, right? They don't know you could be coming on the high ground, right? So, let's see where you go. Hopefully it's to the left. I mean, this is okay. This is okay. I don't mind this. Again, it's not great because it's a little bit out in the open, right? And we're playing, again, as I said many times prior, we're playing into a comp that can outrange us and can poke us from distance. So that's my main concern with this part. I think it's not bad, right? I think we're just a little bit slow on the echo, on the echo damage. We do get a good angle on Mercy here, which is nice, right? Unfortunately, we don't get deflect in time, sadly. So yeah, it's unfortunate. But the thinking there is decent. I appreciate the little bit of thought that's gone to the Mercy. Not fully terrible. Okay. Hopefully we can crack this fast one over. Nano boost goes on. Okay. Sure. Okay. Again, do not like that dash onto the echo again, right? That's just micro into the character. What should he be doing here?
I'm just poking.
Poking who?
Mercy or Kiri.
Probably Kiriko because she's closer to you. How could you make yourself a little bit more evasive while you're poking Kiriko?
We use the cover, the wall. Use the wall to cover myself.
Yes.
To only see Kiri.
Sure, right. How could you maybe use a wall climb too?
How?
Right, so maybe we can wall climb on this wall here, right? Up forward, and then get a better angle on Kiriko, and then still fire shurikens away, right? So,
okay.
coaches will often call this. Yeah, this is often called wall climb. This is wall climb micro, is what people often call this. It's really nice to get again better angles from the top down because it's just easy to hit your shots that way, and it's also nicer because you're a little bit more unpredictable with where you're coming from. It's not just you're going in and out, in and out, in and out, right? You're using the verticality to your advantage to make yourself a little bit more elusive and harder to kill. It's really important as well when you're fighting. Like if you're using Genji Blade too, like you're during Blade, is also really important too. But here it'd be great as well to use. So a little bit of micro there with what you can be doing with the character. So instead, again, we just dash through onto Echo, and right now, like if this Echo's got hands, and she's good at the game, she probably will kill you. But yeah. 3 HP. Wow. 3 HP. Like, that is crazy. Okay. Go left side, go left side, go left side, go left side, go left side. That's a bit too late. Game's onto you. Fine, punish doing fist. Bit slow on the dash. Fine. Okay, pushing cots, okay. Sure. Okay. Again, we dash into an echo. Okay. Again, I'm fine with doing dash engages as long as you know Echo's dead or can't reach you. But yeah. Okay.
1v1 only.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Oh, here's as well. It's fine. Echo's far away and she's in duplicate. This is fine as well. Let me go back a little bit. Okay. Okay. Maybe a little bit more patience with your fans, but nothing crazy. Okay. Okay, we're still chasing the Mercy. Okay, so this is like, I'm not sure if you know what sunk cost fallacy is. It's basically where you put a lot of resources investing into something, and it starts sinking or it starts going down. But because you've already invested a ton into that thing, you keep going for it. And this is what it looks like against the Mercy here. So, it's the Mercy right now. Is the Mercy that killable?
I think it was.
So
No, when she got the Mega. I think it was, but it wasn't when she got the Mega.
Yeah, maybe. What's stopping you right now from getting the Mercy kill?
I don't have my dash.
Yes, right. You haven't got your dash. So who's the next available target for you right now?
Alright.
Sure. Who's just on our screen? Kiri, right. The Kiri's right here. And this is a great distance, right? You love this range. This is great. You can get those big, juicy Shuriken fans and force that Kiri, right? So again, this is just target priority, right? We're tunneling a little bit too much on the Mercy here and not realizing that she's not that killable. There's like two things when I talk about target priority. There's two things that I bring up to players. We'll just abbreviate it to TP for now. First thing is how dangerous. Ooh, how dangerous or aggressive a target is to kill. Obviously, Mercy, not that dangerous, but to be honest, nobody on the enemy team is that dangerous either, so I'm okay with it. Second thing is how easy someone is to kill. Now, right now, in your POV, right, it's a lot easier to go ahead and kill this Kiriko, and she's more dangerous too than the Mercy. So for those two reasons, switch your target priority. Those are the two things that I should be keeping in the back of your head when you're considering about who to prioritize.
I think I didn't want it to go anything there because I was in the open, so I thought I got poked out somehow, maybe far behind me or somewhere.
Maybe. I think you're overthinking this way too much, right? If I was right in front of you, you've got cover to use, you've got dash you should have both your CDs up in time, but you don't need to use the CDs against the Kiriko, right? Just use the Shurikens. That's it. And then you can use your dash to finish the kill. That's literally all you need, right? If this Ashe starts shooting at you for some reason, if this Ashe is behind you, right? Then you can turn around and go into her, right? That's fine as well. And you've got transit. I don't think there's a big issue right now. Okay, I wouldn't overthink it too much. Okay. Especially again when you just like considering you just dashed and deflected, or deflected and then dashed into like a 5-man team, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Okay. So this is where wall climb Lyco is really important. So this right now, where could you be wall climbing to?
Wall climbing the wall, dropping his head.
Right. So maybe we can do this kind of thing. We can wall climb over here, and then fire shurikens. We'll climb over this and get to the high ground. You can do the exact same thing from this wall too. I don't really mind. But again, that makes us a little bit more trickier to hit for the Kiriko. And it also gives us access to high grounds, which is quite nice. But yeah. A little bit of walk on like that. Okay. Two dies. Okay. Okay, this is the kind of thing that like, in this level of play, you're probably going to live. But at that point, I would have died on cart because you're not gonna get in high level lobbies. You're not getting out here alive. Somehow you are. Though. Okay. Sure. Okay, and then yeah, you just don't care. You just don't care Doomfist much, sadly. Which is the only concern. You see Doomfist blocking right now in front of you, and then you dash into Mercy. Yeah, you just don't care Doomfist much. That's the truth there. Okay. We'll see here. Next fight. Okay. Okay. Sure. I know your team do win this eventually. Because the game code is pretty long. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see this blade. Okay. Cool. Okay, so this is a really important idea. Is it risky
Mhm.
to walk in front of Doomfist right now and try and force him out?
I thought it wasn't,
Why did you think that?
but I think he was blocking and I could react on time just jumping over his head. But I didn't realize there was their team on the other side.
So this is probably to do with awareness, right? Because you can see Farah and you can see these people here. Like you know, there's good reliable spam damage to your right side. Right? So if you walk forward onto Doomfist here, you're gonna get shot from behind, right? So what should you have done instead? What can you do instead? What should you have done instead of walking in front of the Doomfist?
Either disengage or shooting from behind. I thought they
Uh,
just wanted to jump over him and shoot him from behind, from the back.
as in, you were trying to get you want to try and get behind him.
Yeah, right there.
How are you trying to? How are you going to be able to do that?
I just wanna double jump.
Okay. Um, what might be the issue with that?
Um, the other three teammates are looking at me.
Yes, right. So this is basically the exact same thing, right? We're still walking in front of these guys, right? Who can shoot us. And they can shoot us from this direction here. So, what other options do we have? Do we need to go to walk on Doomfist?
Not really. I
No, we
just
don't,
I
right?
could disengage.
Right. What else? Where else could we go?
Maybe disengage or just go behind, wait for my team.
Right? So we can just go back here. That's okay, right? And again, I'm really wanting you to think about what your job in the character is, because sure, you can shoot Doomfister. That's part of your job, right? Like you can force
Hmm.
this guy out. He's fairly squishy, right? But it shouldn't come at the cost of your life, right? Like you can poke out Doomfist from here. You can poke out Doomfist from here, right? Like it shouldn't. And those two angles here are blocked off by the Farah, Kiriko, Mercy, and Echo, right? You're not putting yourself in harm's way, basically. My point. Whereas here, of course, you are. And now, considering this is last touch, I don't know how you guys win this fight, to be honest, right? But considering you're the first person to die this fight, and you've got 40 seconds left on the clock, this is kind of a hard for you. And you're the only person on your team with an ultimate. Not great. Okay. Let's see this. You basically get baited by Doomfist to walk. Unfortunately.
What should I be looking for blade right here in this combat? What should I blade?
Yeah. Okay. So I get. I don't get this question a lot, but I talk to players a lot about connecting with backline with the blade and what you do about it, right? So there's two things you can do. The first one's, second one is a little bit more advanced, but that's not necessarily true. It's something that I haven't mentioned yet, right? But the first one is linked to your staging, right? So I'll show you a good example. Actually, I'll show you at the end if I have the replay. Yeah, I should have the replay code. I'll show you at the end of a really good Genji blade that connects onto a backline and how it happens and how that Genji did it, right? With some pro play. The second option that you have is to make this person walk forward, and that doesn't sound, it sounds very vague, right? But the main way you do this is by shooting Doomfist, right? Or more generally, I call this force out frontline heroes. So what I mean by that is, again, tanks usually and flankers, right? If you put pressure on these targets, the flankers could be like, again, a traitor, for example. If you put pressure on these targets, like Doomfist or Tracer, then they're probably either going to leave, or this person has to walk closer in order to help out these people. Otherwise, they die or they lose space. So, and again, that's how you make that this person walk forward here, right? So if you make this person, and also the Mercy too, to some extent, right? But I'm mostly talking about the Kiriko here, because honestly, Mercy should really be with that Echo and Farah for the most part. But it's the same kind of thing that applies to any comp. And then once you see the Kiriko walk forward, then you're more likely, or you're more able to blade. So again, two things, right? That pathing, or staging, or rotating in a way that's outside of the enemy team's LOS. Again, we've seen many examples, right? That could have been through here, could have been through here, right? That could have been fine. Those kind of examples. Or you just shoot Doomfist and make the Kiriko walk. That's basically it. So we'll see what happens here, because you do get a good blade, or you should get a good blade, based off how this fight goes. Okay, we're bombing. Okay. Okay, sure. Right, this is fine. We're connecting. The micro is a little bit wacky, right? But the general premise, right? Our Diva bombs in. It puts a lot of pressure on Doomfist and their front line. It allows us to walk forward safely in open space because of our Diva bomb. So our Diva bomb zones, we walk forward. Once we walk forward, we can connect onto backline. And once we connect onto backline, we can pull the blade. So, not a bad blade, right? I think we just get a little bit funneled on Doomfist here. Now we think we see him on 1 HP, which is why I think you lose sight a little bit here. Bar than that, I've got no real complaints. Right, this is micro with the blade, right? I think here you just kind of messed up your dash, and you could have wall climbed over this little wall thing, right, to play over here. So just micro with your blade, not the actual blade itself that I've got worries with. Okay. We'll see next fight. Okay. Yeah, that's overtime, nice. Okay. Okay. Sure. Nice. Nice. No concerns there. Sure. 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 Fine, just be a little bit careful of the Farah. Okay. Okay. Now, I might be wrong here, based on where Farah was playing, but from your POV, you actually need. Do you need to leave these? Do you need to leave these boxes? At least right now.
I thought that I got split from the team, so I could just go back.
Right.
I don't know. I thought that Farah could kill me. I could just press W and kill me.
Right. So.
With Mercy, well, that would be difficult to
Right.
deal with.
Because I think part of that stems down from when knowing where Farah is at. Because again, she could be like, I don't know, above this building for all I know. You know, I've got no idea where she's at because you're not looking at Farah. But again, this links back into that aggressive but safe idea, where I think we can both agree this is a very aggressive angle, right? But in actuality, again, it's pretty safe. The only person that can really force you out here is Echo. She needs to fly all the way around here, play super wide, hit her stickies, all of her stickies basically, right? And then force your dash. And then you just dash back to your team, or you dash back to this mini, and you're completely fine, right? So, that's the important thing to mention there. Is again, you can keep this position for at least a little bit longer, and you could have pincered the Doomfist here as well, while he's blocking. So, you can land even more damage on him as well. Okay. Cool. Okay, Barrage and Meteor Strike out. Kitsune out.
Adaptive circuits engaged.
Okay.
Diva.
Okay. Okay, sure. I think it's fairly okay. They pop like 3 or 4. Yeah, they pop 4 ultimates here, whereas you guys pop 2. Or 1, I think. You only pop 1. And it's crazy. So my only really issue here is that once you see the enemy team walking forward, then stop pressuring Kiriko a lot more. I don't think you need to dash out here immediately, because no one's looking at you, right? You're not taking any visual aggro. Visual aggro just means who's looking at you here. And again, no one is. So You can sit on this angle here and be completely fine. Okay. Cool. Probably gonna die here, sadly. Maybe not. We're doing okay. Okay, I like this pathing. I like it. Maybe you can go right side. Okay. Left is okay too. Okay. Yeah, we just don't know why people are that. And you will die there, right? So I actually like the idea. I like the staging, right? But what goes wrong in this fight?
I should have go to the to the to the high ground.
Yeah.
There was much more cover there.
Right. So you
But my
can,
wall climb was failing for some reason. I don't know.
yeah, so you can either do this, and that's fine, or you can do this, and then wall climb on these pillars to get to high ground. This one's better. Why is this side better?
More safer, I think.
Yeah? Why also?
Is it sneakier?
Yes, right? They can't see you, right? They've got no idea. You could literally, honestly, at this elo, you could crouch walk the cart and C9 it, honestly. Okay, maybe fast lane cart, that's probably an issue. But still, right? Like, you can go around here and be a little bit more sneaky, with how you're playing the game. Okay, whereas again here, I'm like, yeah, we don't need to, Dasher is kind of useless. And here again, it's really, really, really badly timed too. It's also a real issue, because your team's coming out of spawn while you're trying to make a play, right? The timing is way off. I was way too early. Okay. Let's see here. Next fight. Speed up a little bit. Sure. Bomb coming out. Big bomb by your diva. That should be that fight one. I think we can speed up to the next fight. Nice. Mechanics. Okay. Sure. Yeah, okay. So far, I've got nothing else to say. They're just staggering out, to be honest. And the Thunder was there going carry. Nice. Okay. Yeah, maybe look around for Farah. I know Farah's, like, again, a little bit unreachable because of the nature of our character. But just look around a little bit more. Again, I think your head isn't... You can't really look... Yeah, I don't think you've looked at Farah that many times, to be honest. So, again, slight awareness thing on Farah's. Okay, cool. Okay, we'll see. I'm curious about this play. Very curious. Cool. Tokens are good. Nice. Dash kill. Okay. Yeah, but so far from what I've seen, the mechanics haven't been the main limiting factor as to what's holding you back. They seem, at this level, I think they're more than reasonable. Okay. Yeah, I want to beat like that. Sure. Leave that. Yeah. Sure, I'm okay with that. Okay. Maybe we can help our team to the Farah. Okay, we can push cart a little bit. Your team should not be down to a Farah there. We get a Cassius there. Okay. And you get forced out again really early, right? So we'll see what we can do about this. Okay, first thing, right? Why don't you go on Farah early? Or chase Farah with your team?
I thought that she was just going to
Going to
go
die.
through the hole,
Yeah.
and I wanted to catch her there, to catch her.
Sure, yeah. What does that mean? If the entirety of your team is looking at the Farah, right? How might that imply with how aggressive you should play, or how aggressive should you play based on that knowledge?
Really aggressive,
Why do you say that?
because I'm not really liable, because it's really likely to die. Farah.
Are you
It's
gonna
really
get any
likely to
help
die.
on this angle though?
No, but I thought that if he could manage to escape somehow, I could catch her from there. I got my deflect. I just can do deflect a rocket or something, and that's her.
Sure. Okay, so like this is where it gets really important because right now you're playing way too aggressively, right? And it makes you ignore the Cassidy here, and you get very lucky because this Cassidy can't aim. So how many shots is he missing? He just shoots Ana. Okay, not you. That's really bad target. I don't know why he's shooting Ana from like 50 out of his effective range. I don't know why, but he is. He should be shooting you instead. So you get very, very fortunate here as a result. But if the entirety of your team is looking at a single character, or two characters in this case, right? The Kiriko and the Farah, that means you're gonna get no help. And I'm okay with you pushing Cot here, and I'm okay with you trying to like get ready to catch the Farah, right? I'm okay with that. But you have to play really passive until you see an opportunity, right? Once Farah emerges on 1 HP from this corridor, I don't want to see you play aggressive, right? I want to see you chillax. Right? Play the cart, play the cover, play distance. Make it hard for the enemy casters to come and force you out, right? That's what I want to see here. Not this, right? And I think, honestly, you should have probably died as a result of that. But, like, you get... Also, by doing this, and even though you don't die, right? If I zoom out, your D.Va's in, your D.Va's going in, while you're going out, right? Like, whose fault is that? And if you ask me, I think it's yours. Because there's no reason to be forced out here, right? It's like, we just have no awareness on what my team's doing, and we've got no awareness on Cassidy, right? Or maybe we are aware of those things, but we're not prioritizing it, and we're not thinking about it enough. It's not affecting us in terms of how we play. We're so tunneled on hitting the Farah. Instead of, again, broadening our mind with what we want to do in the character, which is, again, connect onto backline, right? So, again, that's the important thing. And again, Farah just died there, right? She didn't come out there anyways. As a result, right, you could just keep pushing cart, and then now, you could have flanked through here, right? This would be great staging. This would be amazing staging. Flank through here, right? Maybe I'll put the camera down here. Flank through here. Get a great engagement to that Cassidy, right? Or, you could even do from this room, dash behind, right? That's exact fine thing as well. You could do that as well. Right? You could kill this Cassidy right now. But, you might still die anyways, right? But yeah, it doesn't sadly, right? But because you're not there, you miss out that kill, right? And that's why, I think that's probably a good place to actually end off the VOD, is missed opportunities, right? You getting forced out there really early on means that you miss out that cast kill. And there's nobody to blame but yourself for it, right? Because again, you're not aware of how much aggression you can really be taking, right? You're not aware of the Cassidy. You're not aware of the Doomfist. You're not aware that you can be forced out. You're not aware that your Arna's looking at your team and not, not you. You're not aware that your Kiriko died to a Farah, but in fairness, she shouldn't have done that, right? But you're not aware of that. And that, it changes how you should play. But yeah. Okay, I'm going to show you a few examples. Or the blade example I wanted to go through. To show you what I mean about good staging and sneaking around. Because I think it's best shown visually, so you know what I mean. Let me just find the replay. This might be, hang on. It's from Korea.
Is it okay just poking like that? I mean, playing way safer, even if my damage I don't contribute to the fight at all. Basically.
I mean, you in that example there, right? You can still contribute to the fight. You're still poking the Cassidy, right? You're just changing your position, right? Like it's if I literally, let's go back to that same fight actually. Draw it out. Hopefully, yeah, this is the same VOD. I think it was like here it is. Bit further ahead. Okay, here it is, right? But like, when I mentioned that aggressive but safe thing, this is kind of what I mean. Where like, this is dangerous, but aggressive, right? Where you're out in the open, therefore it's dangerous, right? This is a little bit less aggressive, right? But it's way safer, right? I'd call this passive, but safe, right? Now, if you want aggressive but safe, that might be here, right? Or, hang on, it might be down this little hallway, right? That might be aggressive but safe. It might be here, right? That could be aggressive but safe. But unfortunately, of course, by you considering you're already here to begin with, you can't reach those positions there naturally. So your only other option there is to stay cart, really. Or again, turn around and kill the Farah. Other one's fine. But your natural, again, the main thing I want to get across is that this is overtly dangerous, right? And you're not sacrificing any damage, right? You can still shoot the Cassidy from here, right? But you're making yourself way safer. I think that's the key point I want to get across. It's not mutually exclusive, right? That's the important factor. I'm not saying to do less damage. I'm saying to preserve your life a way more and not get forced out unnecessarily. Which again, which is what happens here, right? because you take that angle that's super wide, and you get forced out really early. But yeah, okay. The blade I want to show you is from here. Okay. Hopefully I put in the right replay code. Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. Let me go ultimates, stints, ultimates, round 1. Okay. So this guy, again, this is like the highest level of play you will ever imagine of your life, right? And this guy gets basically a free blade kill. So look at this, right? Staging, hiding, right? Sticks to D.Va a little bit, looks at D.Va a little bit, plays super slow, not fighting anyone, sees D.Va fly away, right? Right, again, I think something that you might do here, or a lot of Genjis would do, is play this high ground, right? But the reason why this high ground's bad is that you're more easily able to get forced out if you play this high ground too early on, right? You'll get forced out, which is not great, because you're playing for Blade here. So, again, here he's just waiting, sees nobody, right? No one can force him out, comes to the top of him, connects to Cassidy, and gets the Blade immediately, right? Again, Cass is 1 HP, but he eventually gets the kill here with the dash right and gets the kill. So that blade there was impossible to stop. And that's kind of what I mean by good staging. It's like not fighting these angles necessarily, playing distance, not getting forced out early on, and then in the mid-fights, right, when things are going on, then you can start double jumping, wall climbing, taking high grounds, right, jumping over them, playing angles that they can't see, and then connecting using cover and LOS. A good play in that example there. That's a really good, clean example of it. I'll link you the video that I was referring to here as well. So I'm gonna forget if I don't do it right now. So yeah, it was this one. Can I share it? Come on, YouTube, load up. There we go. Share, copy, and I'll paste it in our DMs so you can watch that afterwards. That's a good video. But yeah, we'll do a quick 3-point summary about things that should work on. I'll answer any questions you have as well, because I'm sure you have plenty of questions. But yeah, okay. First thing I'll say is, again, pathing, especially in the mid-fight. Again, multiple times, right, on first point, right, you could have gone left, and then kill Marcy, or again, as well on first point, right, you could have gone right, and then kill Kiri from behind. That's kind of one of the main things, is again, pathing, sneaking around. LOS is really important to this. Mention LOS, or staying out of enemy vision. But yeah. Second thing I'll mention, I'll just say like micro, like specific, like yeah, I'll say like cooldown micro. So we talked a lot about, like, again, echo, right? Echo dashing, avoid dashing in. We talked about wall climb micro, or when you're dueling somebody. And then I think that's mainly it. So like maybe it's a little bit of patience, with shurikens, and then also a little bit of better cover usage here too. And last thing I'll say is the like your, I'll say like aggressive. I'll make it more broad actually. I'll say like your job slash role, Genji, right? So assessing the range and mobility of enemy That's not a good word, but enemy. So in that game specifically, it was Pharah, Echo, and Mercy, which again can outmaneuver. And you can take those aggressive but safe angles a lot more. Okay. So those are the three key main points. They kind of intertwine with each other. I'm sure you've got many questions, so you can fire away if you have any questions.
No, maybe. So to sum up, I should use stop dashing first at first of the fight, right? I mean to start and engage.
I mean, dashing first to start an engage is okay if you can live, right? But it's Echo specifically that we were talking about because she can beam through. So that's why against Echo, you ideally want to safe dash to escape. But yeah, dashing in, that deflecting out is fine for your engage. That's okay. It's just Echo specifically where it becomes problematic.
Okay. How do I split the team to? Oh, I mean, how in the specific team comp that I was fighting in the previous book, well, who should I blade? I mean, there was too many flyers.
Just primarily the Kiri. That's just it, really. The Kiri, or the Mercy, right? Either one's fine. Like, you don't need to get like a 5k with your blade, you know. But like, if Kiri's
Mm-hmm.
close to you, and you force Suzu or you force TP or whatever the case may be, and you can connect with blade, yeah, go for it, you know. Like we saw that first blade that you did, right? When you dashed into the Kiri and the Mercy. Again, you got a little bit lost by their Doomfist being low, and you missed the wall climb micro, right? You missed the dash too. But that was a fine blade, in theory. You connected onto them. They were close to you. They were low. That was a good blade. So yeah, I would say in that comp, the Kiri and Mercy. But yeah, the Kiri predominant. What? Anything else?
I don't know, maybe how can I improve my mechanics? I mean, I I play Genji mostly because it's fun, you know. I want to be able to hit those crazy
Yeah,
clicks
yeah.
with that. Yeah, those stuff.
It's gonna like suck me saying this, but like, because it's a really like, it's not tangible or practical for me to say this, but it's only really gonna come with experience and over time. Like the more you practice hitting like those like one shot dash shuriken combos over and over and over again, you're gonna get more used to the actual distance of it. You're gonna get used to the flicks. It just comes with practice and doing it over and over and over again in ranked or quick play, and having conscious thought dedicated towards it. Because again, it's like you're not gonna master it on day one, you know. It's gonna require practice over time. Again, I recommend doing it in stuff like workshop codes. Like I'm maybe you know Vaxter for example is like a really popular one. For example, that everyone uses. So you can practice it there. You can practice it in quick play. And you can also practice it again in comps that don't have echo because you're able to dash in basically against comps that haven't got echo and deflect out. But yeah. Anything else?
Uh, well, I think that should be all. That's it.
Cool.
That's everything, I think.
No worries. Well, I've recorded the session too, so you'll be able to watch it in your spare pace. I'll link this session to you when it's done uploading. So again, you
Okay.
can rewatch it. If there's any bits. But barring